what an emotional way to cap off UFC Vegas 12. Uriah Hall puts away Anderson Silva in the fourth round as the event comes to an end. As we welcome you to the first of two parts of our UFC Vegas 12 post-fight coverage. We're getting you ready for the post-fight press conferences. I'm sure we're going to hear from Mr. Thug Nasty himself, Bryce Mitchell, after his big win over Andre Fili. And I'm sure we'll hear from Uriah Hall. Not sure if we'll hear from UFC President Dana White, but if he does, you'll be able to watch it and listen to it right here on the MMAfighting.com YouTube channel. I am Mike Heck, being joined by the very festive Jose Youngs and E. Casey Leiden. I do have a costume. I have my Iron Man mask, but I won't be able to talk into it, so we'll show it off. You'll have to stick around for the post-fight show to see what that looks like. But I don't know if Jose's muted. He's got the little. Yes, he is.
I'm here.
Oh, there you are.
Can hear you, sir.
Yeah, you were muted, but now you're back. So, initial thoughts. Uriah Hall puts away Anderson Silva. Jose, what are your sort of initial thoughts just minutes after it went down?
Well, I had a very big. I just tweeted this. Uriah Hall's reaction to winning is very reminiscent of Larry Holmes beating Muhammad Ali. Like, he took no joy in it and basically was in tears after. Or for our pro wrestling fans out there, very WrestleMania-esque when Shawn Michaels super kicked Ric Flair. And you know what I'm talking about, Mike. The moment.
No, I do. I can't. I'm looking at Casey right now, and I can't focus.
Right. Casey's just a big Uriah Hall fan, I guess.
He is. He's typing up a Uriah Hall tweet right now, hoping that he might actually.
How many costumes?
I'm gonna try to get on the. Maybe this tweet will get on the broadcast. We'll see.
How many costume changes did you go through? Because this is not the costume that you shared in our Slack channel.
I got about 3 different ones right now.
Did you go through all of them before you decided on this one?
Well, there's different shows, so hold on.
Oh, okay.
We got different streams.
So, Casey, what did you think? Initial thoughts. We're probably like 8 minutes removed from Uriah Hall putting away Anderson Silva. Very emotional moment in the cage, like Jose just described. What did you think?
Anderson Silva is still a competitive middleweight. Still competitive. He's obviously, like, he can still beat actually probably half the middleweight roster, I would think. But the problem is that the Anderson Silva the UFC wants to present. And that's just about it. I mean, I think he just doesn't have the chin. And I think so much of his game is his reactions and his reflexes are so important, and they're just half a second too late now. And actually, if anything, usually it used to be the longer the fight went on, Anderson would figure you out, but now it seems the other way around. Hall needed that time to figure out Anderson, and then by that time, because okay, now I know his power, now I know his speed, now I understand his reach, and then once Hall turned it on, yeah, we saw what happened.
What did you think of the coaching, Jose? I thought Saif Saud was phenomenal tonight because, one of the things you talked about in the preview show is Uriah Hall, and not just Uriah Hall, but even Israel Adesanya. Anytime you fight a guy like Anderson Silva, there's that mystique. You're taking on the idol, taking on the legend, and there's a lot that comes with that. But once you get through that threshold, like Casey said, Uriah was able to turn it on and get the finish. But I thought Saif Saud did a great job keeping Uriah in the moment, in the fight. What did you think of his corner work and Uriah's performance, especially in the second half of the fight?
Yeah, I missed between the first couple rounds because I was watching it on mute. Because I watch a lot of fights from home on mute, just because I think the commentary can be biased regardless of whether they want to or whether it's on purpose or not. So I missed what he said between rounds, but what I did hear, I think you hit it on the head. It's one of the better coaching we've seen in 2020. I mean, how big of a deal this fight is for a man like we did, because he's an actual fighter, he knows what he's watching. So he wasn't biting on near as many fakes as I thought he would. But yes, his coach Said was phenomenal in keeping him in check. Very reminiscent of Trevor Whitman and Justin Gaethje when Gaethje fought Tony Ferguson. He was basically able to keep him focused in the moment at hand and not get caught up in everything happening and telling him to get his hands ready and be aggressive and this and that. So yeah, 10 out of 10 coaching from Fortis MMA's the leader of Fortis MMA.
It's a good night for Fortis MMA. 2 finishes. Started off the night with the finish with Miles Johns. Ends the night with the finish with Uriah Hall. And that leads me to a question we like to ask right before the press conferences begin, Casey. It's going to be a tough bonus night. Tough decisions to be made. There are a lot of bonus-worthy performances. Of course, Bryce Mitchell versus Andre Fili was a really fun scrap in the co-main event. So if there's a fight of the night, that is the one. But there are a lot of very impressive performances tonight. If you were the guy giving away the bonuses tonight, Casey, who are you giving them to?
Ooh, good one. Miles Johns. I love giving bonuses to the current jerkers. That he deserves one. If they don't get fight of the night, obviously if they do get fight of the night, Mitchell, Fili, great, actually just a really good fight. I can't really give it to Holland because just an overmatched opponent, late notice opponent. Hernandez, I mean, Hernandez had a good fight. Yanez, what was Yanez's knockout? There were so many knockouts tonight. I can't.
The kick.
Oh yeah. Let's give it to Giannis. Johns, and fight of the night for Mitchell and Fili. But man, this one's there's a lot of fight. There's a lot of. I mean, it's a tough one to pick actually.
What about Jason Witt, Jose? I mean, this is a guy who has had a rocky road. Didn't know he was even going to fight Takashi Sato until probably like a minute or two before the fight even took place. They had to push his prelim fight to the main card, and then he didn't even know if his medicals are going to be cleared. And then he takes on a guy who missed weight by almost 5 pounds, and it was a destruction, like a one-sided beatdown until mercifully the fight was stopped due to an arm triangle submission. I think he's a guy that deserves a bonus. But if you had the book, who are you giving bonuses to tonight?
I would give one to Jason Witt just because we haven't seen a lot of submissions in like the last few months. I think there were 2, maybe 3. I can think of 2, like for sure that happened on Fight Island.
I think there were 3.
Like off the top of your
3. 1, 2, 3.
Off the top of your head, how many submissions happened on Fight Island of the 5 cards? Like Brandon Royval, and then I think there was maybe one more. Lauren Murphy, didn't she get the tap? So like there were 2 submission wins in 5 weeks.
What?
Pretty
Really?
much. Like 2 or 3, and like the whole time.
Habib.
Some of the fights like Habib. There's Habib. He kind of transcends there.
There's that guy.
Didn't Joel Alvarez get one too?
So 4 total maybe. And so I want to give a submission and performance bonus because we didn't see a lot of it on Fight Island. And pretty much all of them were on one card. Like they were all on that last card, and on the first 4 didn't really have any. So I would say give Jason Witt one. My favorite fight was Uriah Hall, Anderson Silva. I thought that fight was just awesome, but I just love really high level, violent chess matches. Yanez for sure because the head kick knockout usually gets one, and then Miles Johns just because. Well, maybe not Miles Johns because a lot of the comments on the post that we have in the video were all about the fingers in the glove. So maybe not Miles John just because there is some controversy around his win.
What is
I don't know if Kate's even noticed that.
What?
Yeah, so maybe those 3, and Bryce Mitchell and Fili can get 2 fight of the nights, and we never get fight of the nights. Now we're gonna get 2.
Just give everybody a bonus.
Yeah, it's Halloween. Yeah.
Hernandez, it looked awesome. I mean, I don't know how you can't like Uriah Hall dropped Anderson twice, and that was a fun fight. That was a scrap.
To me, Hernandez has to get one. I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean that wasn't late notice, right? Competitive opponent. Yeah, that was domination, right?
Yeah, I'd say I do Hernandez, Yanez, Jason Witt.
Okay, I got you.
And
I forgot about Jacoby too. Was that?
Yeah, Jacoby's is good too. I think I'll go I think I'd give it to Uriah Hall over Jacoby.
Yeah.
Uriah Hall was like a minus 400 favorite or something. He was like a
No.
Odds are it was still an impressive performance.
He wasn't that big of a favorite.
Yeah, I think it was minus 300. I think it was a very significant favorite coming into this fight.
Let's take odds.
Minus 2. I bet it's minus 200 at the most.
Ooh.
Let me see.
Fans, bring it.
It's minus 225.
So we were both wrong.
What is your costume, Casey? I mean,
Gloomy Bear.
Forgive my
Gloomy Bear.
What is?
Gloomy Bear. Gloomy Bear. Google. Ask your kid. Look up Gloomy Bear.
I don't think he knows.
Yeah. You text.
And what are you, Jose?
I'm Marco from Saga, the comic book. Julia's sitting over there as Lana, so it's a duo costume.
Oh,
For anyone that's read Saga, you know exactly what I mean.
I feel very unfestive right now. But it is what it is. All right, you know what? Let's just.
Yeah.
Let's just get after this thing.
Happy Halloween, because I bet some people aren't celebrating Halloween outside out of the United States. So I bet when I looked before I hopped on, our whole comment section was in Portuguese. So it is Halloween for those of you wondering. That's why we're all wearing costumes.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I had no clue.
This is a regular Saturday night for Casey.
What are you talking about? Man?
That's real ketchup. Casey probably doesn't like ketchup.
I know. I have candy and everything, and like I assume maybe one kid would come by, but like no one's come by tonight at all. So about the good kind too. I didn't even get they're not even like Smarties or anything. They're like actually it's quality Snickers bars.
Oh, Smarties.
Oh, come on. When you're a kid and they gave you Smarties when you came into the house, that's an insult.
It's like getting raisins.
Yeah.
Nobody wants raisins.
Those are way better than raisins.
Yeah. I mean, they get pretzels. Those aren't terrible.
What were the ones that they come in like a tube, like twisty ties, like little candies? What were those called? They had like 10 like little pellets in there. Oh, man.
Oh, nerds?
No, not nerds.
No.
It was like little. It was wrapped in like clear plastic, like a little.
Is that a Smartie?
The Smarties were they came in 2-packs, right? I thought the Smarties came in 2-packs.
Smarties were like in the little plastic one.
Yeah,
and they were tied on the end.
Casey.
I'm thinking what?
You're thinking of Sprees.
Maybe.
They come in 2.
Oh, okay.
Smarties are the ones that were in the long tube that you have to untie.
Okay, those are Smarties. Okay. Smarties and Sprees. They both suck.
Smarties are great. Sprees, I'm indifferent.
Yeah. Sprees usually are just like, we'll skip those.
Yeah.
Give me the peanut butter cups are the best candy of all time.
Oh.
There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about
That's
it.
a weird way of saying Babe Ruth.
If you know where I live.
Get off me.
Hey, guys. Come.
This is like karaoke weigh-in talk all over again.
You guys probably like Almond Joys too.
Ooh.
Oh, no way.
Dude,
Yeah,
man. I'm blocking you.
That's the correct answer.
Almond
No, Almond Joys are the worst. No, I take it back. Mounds are the worst. Almond Joys are the second worst.
Those are like candies that our mothers would eat after we go trick or treating because we hate them so much, but they would be excited about them because it was their favorite. That's just how they are. That's just how they are. But as we await I think we're gonna get Bryce Mitchell. Not sure about Dana White, and of course we'll hear from Uriah Hall. Maybe he'll be in a very good mood speaking to the media. Maybe he'll be happy to see
we'll
the
hear
media.
from Anderson Silva.
Maybe. I don't remember.
Like the hospital.
Yeah, I don't remember a main event loser hitting one of these press conferences
In a while.
since we're in this COVID era. But who knows? I mean, if it is Anderson Silva's final fight,
DC.
no.
In his retirement fight, he
He went to the hospital. He went to the hospital.
Yeah. Got stabbed in the eye. I was thinking of the pre-fight press conference.
Yeah.
I'm just not used to press conferences happening, and I knew they did a press conference.
Yeah, and then Justin Gaethje didn't even. I don't know why he didn't do the post presser.
All of them did.
That was a bummer. Has he talked publicly since? I mean, outside what he said in the cage, has he done any interviews or anything? I haven't even seen any Gaethje.
We'll talk to ESPN after the fight.
Yeah,
he talked at the airport. That's about it.
So I asked our YouTube commenters some of their favorite candies, and people love Reese's peanut butter cups. What else we got?
Top 5.
Yeah,
Sure.
I like Milk Duds. I think people kind of sleep on Milk Duds. I'm a fan.
I like Milk Duds and popcorn.
There you go.
Yes.
All right, you're unblocked. You're back. You're back.
I like Reese's Pieces or peanut M&Ms and popcorn too.
You call it Reese's Pieces?
Yeah, is that what they are? The Reese's Pieces?
It's Reese's Pieces.
Oh, whatever.
I know what you're saying.
How do you say it?
That's the New England way.
Is that,
of saying
okay?
it. Reese PC.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's just.
I never heard it said that way.
We say weird, like really weird things.
I see movement.
Yes. I don't know if that means anything, but.
You got nothing.
Alex Savas is on site.
Yes.
Nothing yet. Yeah.
Nothing yet. As you can see, there's the Monster Energy can. Good advertising right there.
This post presser not sponsored by Monster.
This is also, I know we accidentally had a stream. Our stream was called weigh-in stream. We had to minor error. I know before I logged in, all the comments were like, why are they weighing in again? Press conference.
Why not, guys? It's
Obviously we'll do the post-fight show later. We'll answer all your questions. I mean, if there's questions now or like little things, we're still waiting on. That's right, Tyrod. the cups. Pokey Reese cups.
Let me see what we got here. Maybe we can while we
Pokey Reese cups.
See what we got.
People, suggesting fights to make.
Uriah. Oh, we're already doing matchmaking. Uriah versus the guy Izzy just beat. Uriah versus Paulo Costa.
I love Izzy beat him so bad he lost his name. That's just wow.
That's a big leap. That's a big leap.
It's a big leap, but I think that's a fight Costa would want. In a sense, you don't. I don't know. You just want to win, but I don't know if that win gets him back to a title shot. But I don't know. I don't think anything gets back. I don't think anything gets Costa a title shot in his next win. So
unless he just goes out there and cuts Robert Whittaker's head off with his fist.
Oh yeah.
Or if Adesanya loses the title, that'd probably be it. Yeah, I mean, hey.
Alex says, "Guys walking in, just a guy walking."
All right, just a guy.
Wait, hold on.
Can we interview this guy walking? Can we talk to him?
Let's get him on. See what he has to say. Can Uriah Hall fight this way and expect to ever fight Izzy? I don't know how I don't know what that question means. Were we not impressed with Uriah Hall's performance? Is that what we're saying?
Alex Savage just said hey because that was a hey to my Robert Whittaker slander from her. Hey, they're not going to fight next anyway, so it doesn't even matter.
That's true.
So when you were watching the main event, were there had to be moments in there where you're like, oh my God, this is Anderson Silva's going to do it. Were there small moments,
Yeah, when he threw a spinning back leg kick.
That was wild.
That front kick in, or he was like, when you always see the blitz, like against the cage from Anderson, like he backs you up and then like he just flurries you for a little bit. Like there were definitely moments. He just also looks. How old is he? Like 45, 44? Like he just
45.
looked old. Like that punch, he probably would have eaten 10 years ago.
I feel like
that looks like the same punch that Jan connected with Dominic Reyes that dropped him.
Yeah.
Even which is more shocking. I mean, like Anderson's is bleeding now. Like remember, like when was the last time? It was before like he would take all these punches and like just no cuts, just everything just slides off him, and now he seems to be like a human being in there.
We have our bonuses.
Oh.
No fight of the night.
That's weird.
Kevin Holland.
That was a weird stoppage.
Really, Kevin Holland against a guy who came in on
I bet
3 hours notice.
I bet that's why they did it, because this is like the 5th last minute opponent he's had, so they're just like, you know what, we'll cut you some slack.
Yeah, well.
Holland, Hernandez, Yanez, Miles Johns. Can't hate either of those. Yeah. Although I feel like Jason Witt kind of got the big fat hose job.
Well, he got 40%, didn't he?
Yeah, but I mean, this is Cole Williams' second fight, so it's not like he was getting, 40 grand. He probably got like $4,000.
Probably how the UFC views it. He got 40%. Yeah. That's good. 40% is not even 50,000.
Yeah.
So there you go. 4 performance bonuses.
You know what? I want to talk about. I lost the question, but the question was, what do we think about Greg Hardy? Another kind of like nothing's ever clear cut in his fights. Everything's just kind of either a protested stoppage, the eye rake. It was just. I thought the stoppage was odd, and obviously it wasn't the worst stoppage we've seen. We've seen stoppages earlier or later, so it's just. But just. I don't know how much we're going to talk about Greg Hardy in the post-fight, in the post-show, but I don't know. I saw some questions about it.
I didn't have a big issue with the stoppage itself. It was just a lot of things that happened in that first round. Like you said, the eye rake or whatever round that was. The eye rake happened. Maurice Green immediately protested. He was like, I was fighting back. And then,
I felt like he was, too.
I don't know if you saw the post-fight press conference. There was a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot.
That's to say the least. Yeah, it was quite the scrum. Is Hardy for real?
When we say real, are we talking top 15? What are we talking about? What's for real? What are we calling for real?
He's such a hard puncher, and he's so explosive. and he has awful cardio. But like that obviously he has asthma. Like that's the big thing. But like he walks around heavy. Like he has to cut down to 265. He is insanely explosive and fast for someone that cuts down to 265. The problem is he can't fight like right out of the first round. Like or he throws. If you survive any sort of onslaught from Greg Hardy, he's exhausted. He's absolutely cooked. So if you can survive the initial onslaught, and that is if there is an onslaught, because he's fought in 3 rounds before, but he hasn't really gone guns blazing, and well, I shouldn't have said that, coming in like crazy at his opponent. So yeah, if he doesn't just throw everything at you, he could probably just be the huge human being keeping you at distance. But like Volkov just picked him apart. So he's clearly not ready for these top 15 heavyweights, but you might have to throw him in there at some point because he's putting people away when they're outside the top 15.
So what do we do with him? I mean, I feel like he's done enough to. I feel like he has to get a top 15 opponent now. Like as much as, and here's the thing: is as much as as people despise Greg Hardy because of his past and all that stuff, and I understand if you feel that way. The guy's getting better, and he's just started. Like he literally just started.
No, he did not. Well. Greg Hardy, Ben Rothwell. Someone outside the top, I think, coming off a bad loss, super durable, and someone that a very experienced opponent that will really a great chin, who will really test Greg Hardy's cardio and probably his grappling too. So to me, I think without going deep into the roster, because there's a lot of heavyweights, that.
What about someone like Carlos Felipe, who won on Fight Island, looked over Jorgen De Castro, who Greg Hardy also beat, or like who's that? Tom Aspinall, like he finished someone in 90 seconds on Fight Island. He's not ranked either. Trains with Tyson Fury, so he's obviously faced some big, giant, burly men inside the octagon. They're both upcoming prospect. Greg Hardy's a prospect with a big name. I wouldn't mind something like that either. I know Tom Aspinall called out Sergey Spivak, and everyone in the media room was like, that was weird. Like, I get it, but what a bizarre call out that was. So I wouldn't mind one of those guys either.
Well, he was supposed to fight Spivak.
I know he was supposed to fight Spivak, but I think his win was so impressive. Just move on.
Yeah, I mean,
what about like Tai Tuivasa? He's 1-3 in his last few fights.
I could see that. That makes sense.
Stephen Struve.
No.
What?
No.
Are you? Did you just retire Stephen? He's not retired. He's still.
What about Walt Harris? He just lost to Volkov. Hardy and Walt Harris.
That one's not bad.
Are coming off losses. Walt Harris is on a 2-fight losing streak.
Are we sleeping on Ben Rothwell? What's going on? What's wrong with that one?
Coming off a loss. It's always tough.
Walt Harris is coming off 2 losses, 2 knockout losses.
I agree. I just think.
No, he wasn't. Walt Harris. Yeah. Well, he's still ranked. He's still ranked though.
I don't see.
What about Tybura?
Tybura is fine.
Tybura won.
Yeah. Okay. The point. Do we give?
How about Chris Daukaus?
So are we going to give Hardy one of those kind of new UFC heavyweights that we don't really know where they're at, or to give him someone established? Like, we know who Ben Rothwell is. We know who Tybura is. We know what Walt Harris is. What type of fighter are we giving Hardy?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't have a good.
I want Ben Rothwell to fight Alexei Oleinik, because they've been talking about, like, Ben Rothwell called him out after his Jacksonville fight. I don't think Oleinik has a fight coming up. 2 fun grapplers, 2 very stoic individuals. So I wouldn't mind that. They both have like 1,000 fights between them. So I like Oleinik Rothwell more than Rothwell Hardy.
Yeah.
So
he's got options.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. Yeah, because the fight, because there was nothing in that fight when you go, like, nothing ever happens. That's why Hardy fights are so just odd, because he wins, but you don't come out going, yeah, this is the next guy. Obviously he's got this potential you see, but I don't see it on Fight Night. You see parts of that potential. It's just for all the weirdness that Greg Hardy. All the weirdness outside the cage, we don't need to get into that. I feel like his in-cage career is just as odd.
I think he's fought in a lot of guys that, like, Juan Adams was a popular heavyweight, like he had a couple he had an impressive performance. Was on the Contender Series, right? He wasn't on that tough heavyweight.
He was on I think he was on Contender Series, yeah.
Yeah, like so we had like another Contender Series guy. Juan Adams was really popular. Was willing to like kind of push Greg Hardy, like push the buttons a lot. Like Jorgen Castro was for sure a heavyweight prospect when he fought Greg Hardy. And then Maurice Green was for sure a heavyweight prospect when he fought Greg Hardy. So I think that's 3 wins over 3 prospects for Greg Hardy, and I think that's a level he's at. So I wouldn't toss him into the Tybura range, but I would give him one of the prospects that I think is super legit, like Aspinall, maybe tied to Ivasa. I don't consider him a prospect anymore, but he is 1-3 in his last few fights. He trains at AKA now. He's a completely new fighter, so I'd give him a younger guy, not these established veterans yet.
I like the Tuivasa fight.
The Tuivasa fight would be a lot of fun.
Best candy is Swedish Fish.
What do we think about that?
Swedish Fish are vegan, I think.
I think you're right.
I'm asking the vegan in the room. Are Swedish Fish vegan?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're vegan.
There you go.
At what point in your life as an adult did you stop eating certain candies because you were worried about, it's gonna rip out a filling?
I don't have any fillings.
Me neither.
Wow, look at you guys brushing and flossing.
Texas, bro. Don't you start? Don't. Isn't a small size and a small cup of soda in Texas equivalent to a large soda in the other 49 states?
Small cup. What are you? This isn't Canada. Jeez. So.
Keep throwing out your Halloween candy favorites.
Yeah.
Because apparently we're waiting forever for these scrums to start.
I tried to enjoy Milk Duds as I would tell people yeah, Milk Duds are good, and then I just one day I'm like they're not. They're really good in popcorn, but I wouldn't give them anything else.
I disagree. I'm
That's okay. It's candy.
It's candy.
Still Bryce Mitchell.
Yeah, what's going on? So yeah, I guess
giving him a camo tuxedo to wear at the press conference. I don't know.
We're almost 30 minutes into this, guys. The presser hasn't started yet. Sorry, we weren't prepared to talk for 30 minutes. We thought we were like,
normally it's like welcome,
yeah,
and then press conference.
Here comes somebody.
You give Bryce Mitchell now.
Ooh, I really want to see Ryan Hall, Bryce Mitchell. I'm not a fan of grappler versus grappler, but for some reason I do dig Mitchell Hall.
I like Mitchell versus. I know Arnold Allen just lost. He's featherweight, right? Yeah. I know Arnold Allen just lost his opponent, so I wouldn't mind that fight.
That makes sense.
Barbosa wants a scrap. I know that'd be a fun. Barbosa Mitchell would be a scrap.
I do.
Or Miracani versus Mitchell, who just lost to Barbosa. That'd be 2 grapplers too, like 2 grapplers in the physical prime. Ryan Hall kind of supersedes anything being in a physical prime, so any of those cats.
Yeah.
Featherweight's fun.
Yeah. Now, do we give Mitchell how are these? Obviously, the UFC loves Bryce Mitchell. That's pretty clear. How far do they push him, or is it give him someone I don't know, like Americani, or do you go bigger?
Bigger.
At this point, to me, like Barboza is the biggest you could go. That makes sense.
He's 5-0 right now. He's undefeated in the UFC. Like, remember when Arnold Allen was like 4 or 5-0 in the UFC? He got Gilbert Melendez. Like, and he won, and that was what propelled him into like the top 15. So I think you need an opponent like Barbosa would be a really good one. Ryan Hall would be a really good one. Unfortunately, Ricardo Lamas is retired, so he's not going to do it. But yeah, there's a lot of fun fights for Bryce Mitchell.
Barbosa would just be Americane, and then he had the controversial split with the decision loss against Ige. So
Arnold Allen fight a lot though.
So Arnold Allen still has no fight. Is that correct?
As far as I know,
has no fight. Yep, he has no fight. There was talks
Arnold
about
Allen,
Giga
Bryce Mitchell
Chikadze possibly stepping in.
Oh,
but according to Arnold Allen's team, I spoke to them yesterday. He's willing to fight next week as long as it's a ranked guy or a big name. And if not, he said he's willing to wait till December to fight, to either rebook Jeremy Stevens or fight Edson Barboza. That's what he wants.
The answer is Dan Ige. I forgot because they have beef. Like, they've talked a lot of greasiness on Twitter. Did we just lose the feed to the press conference?
Yes, we did. Let me Someone to message Alex.
Try to
Maybe
figure that out.
Yeah, maybe someone stepped on the cable.
I'll message her.
Wait, no, it's just black. It's not. So we didn't actually lose the feed. It's still there. It's just we're getting. It's a Swedish fish.
Swedish fish is a good time.
She says it should be fixed now.
I don't see anything.
All right, cat boy, I'm ready for you. I ain't afraid of you, cat boy. Just do it.
What else you got?
I've been training UFC.
So yeah. Anyway, Dan Ige is the fight to make, I think, because
I agree.
I think that's fight. Yeah, because they had beef before on Twitter. Ige really wanted to fight Mitchell, but then Ige got the fight against Barbosa and won. And then I even asked him, like, what did you make of Bryce Mitchell's performance? And he was like, I can't hate on it. Like, I know I had beef in the past, but you can't hate on what he did against Charles Rosa, because they both fought on the same card.
Yeah, I like the Ige fight.
What is going
And they're
on?
all fun. I mean, 45 is just so much fun.
Yeah, for all this talk of 155 and 135 being awesome, 145.
There we go.
There we go.
We got.
Someone's.
There's a microphone being moved around, so
No one's.
Changing the battery.
maybe a battery replacement.
Good camera work there, Alex.
Excellent.
Nailed
Excellent
it. Oh, man.
And again, if you guys are just joining us, normally we don't talk for this long
Yeah.
on the first part of this whole thing, because usually the fighters or Dana White, they are talking by now. So something tells me that Dana White will not be at this scrum because he'd probably already be done.
Or he's really making sure his costume is perfect.
Yes.
Just saying.
Twix or Three Musketeers?
Two very
Both.
solid choices.
Yes, both excellent choices.
Twix.
I'll favor Twix because
Twix.
it's
Do you favor
chocolate,
the left
caramel,
side
and a
or the right
cookie.
side?
Ooh, that's the question.
What would you say?
Favor the left side or the right side when you break the Twix in half, or do you just bite it in like a heathen?
I'm kind of like one of those jerks. I kind of bite both of them.
Yeah, you're a psychopath.
But then some. But no, I go Twix over Three Musketeers because you have options to how you eat your Twix. You can like kind of even eat it sideways a little bit. Just maybe get some caramel only, and then you don't have to go straight through it. So you have options. You go 2, you go 1.
Looks like Dana White's talking Megan O'Leary right now. I can't hear what he's saying, but
Saying Casey Lyden's costume is amazing.
Yeah, Dana White's like, dude, Gloomy Bear. I love Gloomy Bear. I'm the biggest fan of Gloomy Bear.
All right, we might as well bring this up, since the media and at every Dana White scrum it is asked about. We have a date for the Ultimate Fighter return, March 2021.
that's all they announced, right?
Yeah, no coaches. It's gonna be bantamweights and middleweights. So, Casey, hold
on 1 second. Well, update from Damon Martin. Dana White, absolutely the last time Anderson Silva fights. I shouldn't have let him fight this time. So
What?
Dana White regrets the Uriah Hall matchup.
Why?
I don't know.
Ask him, Jose. Ask him.
Oh, okay.
Be a journalist. Ask a follow-up.
He's gonna field the question for me and end the press conference early.
That's about right.
Why? Like, I don't get. That's weird. It has to be money. Like maybe just Anderson. Obviously Anderson costs good money, so. I don't know.
He has one fight left on his contract, last I heard.
Those fights are never guaranteed, so
Well, hopefully they just let him go, and then he can go fight wherever he wants. Don't just hold him on a contract and be like, I'm just not gonna let you fight anymore, but I'm not gonna let you out of your deal either.
Ugh, that would suck. So, do you think Anderson goes to kind of the Roy Jones route?
Why
not?
Why not fight?
Fight. Well, obviously that one too, but just like. Roy Jones is fighting like a hotel ballrooms at some point. Do you think like Anderson Silva could get, which I don't know. I don't want to. I hate doing. I don't want the guys to destroy their legacy, but man, it's your legacy. Do what you want. If you want to fight, if you want to sit at home and just, do nothing, it's on you. But.
I mean, it's different if you got knocked out in like a minute and a half and it was just brutal. Yeah, it's one thing, but
He
it's not
didn't
like
look
Anderson
bad,
got
man.
like wrecked in this fight. Like he got finished in the 4th round, but
And
you could.
he was competitive at points.
Yeah,
I,
most people thought he won the first 2 rounds.
I had him winning the first 3 rounds until the last 15 seconds of the fight. I mean, I had my tweet kind of like, all right, cool. Whoa, Anderson's up 30 to 27. Wow, Anderson's looking great. And then like, oh, don't press send yet. you know, what I mean. So like, that's very weird. That's very weird, Dana, to say, because yeah, Anderson actually looked very competitive. He wasn't dominating rounds, but he was. I thought he was up almost 30-27 to that last 10 seconds. And but that's Uriah Hall. I mean, that's how he fights. He's kind of there, then boom, explosion, and you're on your back. So yeah, that's just
pretty outrageous for him to say it quite like that. I mean, we shouldn't be surprised at this point, but
I mean that wasn't BJ Penn walking out to fight Yair Rodriguez this time. Oh, there we go. We got
there's
moved.
Dana.
We got Dana. Alex Savas. There you go. Thank you.
There were 4 performance bonuses tonight. Miles John, Adrian Yanez, Alex Hernandez, and Kevin Holland. They all won $50,000.
What's up, Dana?
Who's got the first question?
Dana,
Hey, Kev.
first of all, did you talk to Anderson, and do you know anything about what he
Anderson's been transported straight to the
He
hospital.
was? Okay.
Yeah.
He keeps saying this is his last fight in the UFC, but, he wouldn't say it's his last fight, period. What do you know about that? And does he have any fights remaining on his UFC contract?
Yeah, he's got 1. And we had a deal. When he signed this contract, we had a deal that this would be his last fight. And you know what? The guys, let me put it this way. This week he came out and said in an interview, and I don't know, because I don't trust half these fucking guys in the media and how they set up questions and what they say and everything else. But all I can tell you is what I read, and I know what I usually read is fucking bullshit. So let me start here. That used to be like a family when Lorenzo was here and all that kind of stuff. And listen, we all miss Lorenzo, and I will always admit that Lorenzo was the gentler, kinder side of the UFC. But I've done nothing but be good to Anderson Silva. And tonight I don't feel good about myself that I let Anderson Silva fight this last fight. We've treated Anderson Silva with nothing but respect. And if you guys knew what Anderson Silva gets paid to fight, you'd shit your fucking pants. So I think that we've treated him like family. I shouldn't have let him fight this fight tonight.
But yet, his chin seems to be gone, because he seemed like he fought a pretty good fight, and yet when he got touched on the chin is when...
He fought a guy that has absolutely zero output. They're in a 5-round main event on ESPN. They threw 11 punches in the fucking 2nd round. Yeah. You break into the, you fight any of these other savages, you know what I mean? He'll be in big trouble, and he'll take a shitload of punishment. Uriah Hall threw 11 punches in the 2nd round. Uriah Hall's one of the most gun-shy fighters in the UFC. And look at Anderson. When the fight was over, he couldn't even stand up to do his interview. He had to sit down to do his interview, and I made a big mistake. I shouldn't have let him fight this fight tonight. But out of respect to him, and he's a legend of this sport, and he's a legend of this company, I did something that I disagreed with, and I knew I was right, and tonight proved I was right, and Anderson Silva should never fight again.
When I talked to him on video the other day, and I asked him, and he said definitely final UFC fight, but then he left the door open, jiu-jitsu or boxing or something else. So your contract with him, could you prevent him from doing those other things based on the contract you have?
I don't know. Listen, I'm not trying to prevent him from doing anything. He's a grown man, and he can do what he wants. He's got 1 fight left with us. I'll never let him fight here again. I want him to retire. And what I hope is when he goes home, his family tells him the same thing. So I'm in a really hard position right now, because this is a guy that I care about. This is a guy that's been with the company for a long time. He's a legend of this company, and I don't want to just sit up here and shit on him. You know what I mean? But he's almost 46 years old, and unless you're trying to save your fucking life or defend your family, no 46-year-old should be fighting, period.
And finally, just, can you talk about his significance? You called him a legend several times, but what made him so great when he was in his prime, and why do you think he was so good in the UFC, where he was on that upward trajectory, but he seemed like when he got to the UFC is when he finally just hit the big time.
Yeah, he could do things to people that other people couldn't. He was almost impossible to touch. He would be just on the end of your punch, where the leather might just touch you a little bit, and he'd come back with a combination that would either knock you out or almost knock you out. I mean, he used to do some fun stuff. What he did to Vitor Belfort when he fought Vitor, what he did to Rich Franklin. Chris Lieben at the time was undefeated and had an iron chin. He came in and made Chris Lieben look like he had no chin. What he did to Forrest Griffin when he went up to 205. The list just goes on and on of incredible things that he had a messed up rib that Chael Sonnen was the whole way, and then he submits him, with a couple minutes left in the 5th round. Just legendary fights that Anderson Silva's had here, when he was in his prime. And so.
I just want to ask one question on just a slightly different topic. I had a number of British fans ask me this. They were saying because the country is going to be locked down again, I guess, on Monday, will that affect Leon Edwards, do you know? And will he be able to fight? He hasn't fought for a while, so what impact will that have on Leon?
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head. What's funny? Damian Hurst texted me tonight, that him and his girl were watching the fights, and he told me we're about to go on lockdown again tonight. I didn't even know that. So that was the first I heard of it tonight, and that's a good question, and I'll look into that after the scrum.
Hey, Dana. I remember once you described dealing with Anderson Silva like dealing with an artist, trying to get deals done. Right. Is there a memory of like an incident that you remember where he was just a frustrating artist but kind of fun to deal with?
Yeah, every time we would sit down to do a fight, there was just a process to it. It was never bad. It was never, combative or any of that type of stuff. There was always just a process you had to go through with Anderson. And maybe that's what he means when he says it hasn't felt like family for him, because we haven't gone through any processes lately, I don't know. But yeah, it was always a pleasure dealing with Anderson. It was never bad.
You mentioned you don't want him to fight again. There are other promotions that are going to sign him if he wants to go to them.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's true. Disgusting, and that a commission would let him fight again. It's true, but like I just told Kevin, he's a grown man. He can do whatever he wants, and I like and I respect the guy, and I just hope his family talks him out of it.
In the co-main event, we had Bryce Mitchell, but I think the real story was the camo shorts. Like, they became a viral sensation themselves. Is that something we could see with the Venom deal? More like single customized shorts for individual fighters?
Possibly, yeah, possibly. Cool.
Tonight, The Ultimate Fighter was finally announced, going to be airing in March. Any further news on the coaches yet?
No coaches yet, no. Cool. We'll get it done, though. I'm always looking for guys that add a lot of value to the kids that we bring onto the show, so we'll get some good guys.
Israel Adesanya was in attendance today, yeah. And he was tweeting out Champ Squared.
Champs what?
Champ Squared, like Champ 2. Is he fighting Jan Blachowicz next?
Yeah.
He is?
Yeah. Listen, when the fight was over, on Fight Island, the last fight, I was like, I'm going to have to sit down with this kid and convince him on why he needs to fight Whitaker. And Whitaker comes out and says he doesn't want to fight him. Craziest shit I've ever seen. So, yeah, there's no arguing with Israel now. I thought Whitaker deserved the shot, and Whitaker doesn't want it, so yeah, we'll let him do it.
So, if he would that presumably be in like February or March when we potentially go back to Abu Dhabi, that fight?
Well, I don't know. I don't know where we'll be.
But if he wins the 205-pound title, everyone's...
Listen, man, after how many days we got left? 4 days, 5 days, whatever. After all this wacky shit's over, we'll find out what happens. I think that when the election's over, a lot of shit's going to change.
But if he wins the 205-pound title, then everyone's going to want him to fight John Jones at light heavyweight.
If he wins the 205-pound, yeah. Okay. Me too.
Fair enough. Conor McGregor tweeted out lightweight division incoming, 155 pounds. Any further news on that fight?
Yeah, it's done.
It's signed?
I think so, yeah. As far as I know, it's done.
Cool. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, one more. Mike Perry is out. Robbie Lawler's out of his fight Mike Perry. Kevin Holland wants to fight him. He wants to fight Hamzat. Do you have an idea of who Mike Perry could fight next?
No, I don't.
Cool. Thanks, man.
All right.
Dana over here. I remember once upon a time, George St. Pierre's fighting, Anderson Silva's in the crowd, and it seemed like that was the super fight that was just aligning. How close was that ever in UFC history?
Never. GSP didn't want that fight.
Do you know why?
We had these deals where at that time Anderson Silva was in a very unique position. He could have gone down and fought George St. Pierre. They could have come up with a catch weight, or he could have moved up and a catch weight and did John Jones. Silva didn't want to move up and fight Jones, and GSP didn't want to move up and fight Silva. So none of those fights ever happened.
To talk about Anderson Silva, the GOAT conversation, I know you've been getting a lot of it, Khabib and GSP. Just where would you put Anderson all time if there is a number?
He's one of the greatest of all time. I mean, I don't know if I could come up with a number, but, the more of the sport, as the sport continues to grow and get bigger and bigger and better, you're going to see a lot of great talent coming through the next, 5 or 6 years. So, but Anderson Silva is one of the all-time greats. A lot of kids that would have played other sports became mixed martial artists from watching Anderson Silva. And, he had a massive impact on this company in Brazil and other parts of the world.
Earlier this week, it came out that you spoke with Khabib Nurmagomedov. You said, it sounds like, he will go for number 30. I was just wondering if you could elaborate on just, how the conversation went and the impression you got about his future.
Well, he didn't say that he'll fight at, whatever, but he didn't say no. He's considering the 30, his father wanted it. And I think that he was, super emotional, had the mumps, measles or whatever, broken toe, trained on a stationary bike for that fight, and then came in and fought. And I think that, he was super emotional. So he's still the champ. There's no vacant title open right now or no interim title happening. He's the champ, and we'll give him some time to figure out what he wants to do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dana, Khabib seemed pretty sure that he was going to retire. What kind of feeling do you have that he is, and that you feel pretty good about it?
Yeah, I feel pretty good. He said he was going to talk with his mother.
Okay. And then you guys announced that he was the number 1 pound for pound. And
we didn't announce that.
Oh, I thought you guys did announce.
No, the media
does.
Okay. Yeah, the media. You guys do that.
Okay.
I don't know if it's you, but you guys, the media, voted him. He is the number 1 pound for pound fighter in the world. I mean, just that performance with Gaethje, on top of being undefeated and only maybe losing 2 rounds in his entire career. Yeah, I would say he's the pound for pound best fighter in the world.
John Jones kind of had some thoughts on Instagram, Twitter about that. He made some good points about the number of defenses he had made.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on Jones?
I've been telling you guys, John Jones is the GOAT forever. He's not the pound for pound best fighter in the world right now, though. But yeah.
Any more conversations with him, and we'll see him next?
No, not that I'm aware of. No.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you.
Just a couple, Dana. The Bobby Green, Thiago Moises fight. Did you agree with that decision? And what did you think about that fight?
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with the decision. It was a good fight. Went back, told Bobby. Bobby had a nice little gash on his eyebrow. It was a good fight.
And the other one is Kevin Holland. I thought he had a great performance as well.
Incredible.
What are your thoughts on him? And you got him going over to the cage, jawing with Izzy on the outside. Is there any possibility when something like that happens? Is there a possibility that he can maybe leapfrog a little bit? And is that up to the champ? If the champ wanted him, could he possibly hop in there?
No. I mean, listen, that kid's funny. He's exciting. He's fun to watch. But yeah, to leapfrog up to Israel Adesanya, no, I wouldn't do that to him anyway. I like Kevin Holland. He needs some time. You know what I mean? He needs some time. But listen, he looked impressive tonight. That kid came out and hit him with some big shots. He grabbed onto him. And for those of you that were sitting in there, he slammed the shit out of that guy. I mean, I can't remember the last time I've heard a slam that hard. I was like, I mean, I don't even know what to compare it to. Tito Evan Tanner? couple of guys got slammed in my career.
Dan Henderson when he got slammed by Cormier.
Yeah, that was a nasty one too. But I don't even know. But the difference was he picked him up and slammed him. Cormier did. Kevin Holland came down on top of him with all of his weight, like Tito and Everett Tanner. I'm trying to think of the ones that when they've happened that I've actually been, oh shit. Like it fucking made me sick, like deep inside my fucking core. You know what I mean? That's what tonight was with those slams. Both slams that Holland slammed him with were scary.
And lastly, Greg Hardy, I was going to get your thoughts on his progression in the sport, and what did you think of his performance tonight?
He looked good tonight. And I think that the ref made a great stoppage. I know he was upset about the stoppage, but I thought it was a great stoppage. And Hardy looked good, man. He hurt him, took his time, caught him, hurt him, and then went in for the kill and finished the fight. Thank you, guys.
Hey, Dana, just to clarify something, will you release Anderson from his contract? Since, you're saying he doesn't...
I don't know. I'm going to talk to him, and, I'm not going to do anything to hurt Anderson Silva. He's a grown man. He can do whatever he wants to do. Well, I can't say I'll release him from his contract, but we'll figure something out. I don't know.
Just Chito Vera had an interview today, and he said he's expecting to fight Jose Aldo on the December 19th card. Is that a done deal, or is that a fight that you want to see?
Who is?
Chito Vera. He said
Chito Vera?
Yeah, he said he's expecting to fight Jose Aldo on December 19th.
So Jose Aldo hit me up the other day and was asking me a bunch of questions, and I shot it over to the matchmakers. I don't know what they got done.
Did you like to see that fight?
Sure.
For Chito?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you, guys. Happy Halloween.
All right. There's Dana White. And from what I just saw on our Slack channel, Bryce Mitchell is already here. So we're just awaiting that. A lot to unpack from Dana White's scrum. He was,
a whole bunch.
He was a little grumpy early.
So casually, like, oh yeah, Jan's fighting Israel Adesanya next, and Conor McGregor is going to return.
Yeah, he did a dope. Yeah, he crapped on both fighters in the main event. Jeez. Wow.
They threw 11 strikes. I mean,
yeah. That was all trick and no treat, man, from Dana White tonight. All right.
Here comes Thug Nasty.
So, mate, just done it. What's more important to you, the win or the fact you finally got to wear the camo shorts?
The win's always more important, man. I got to provide, and, that comes first. But the camo shorts, it means a hell of a lot to me.
It's pretty incredible, right? Because the UFC would usually make exceptions for big stars and main event stars, but you're a guy on the rise, and they move mountains, I guess, to get this done for you. That makes you feel like they have a lot of faith in you.
They certainly moved some mountains to get this done. It was no easy task, and then I think it was because I was so passionate about it, and I ain't never asked for an extra penny. I ain't never asked for nothing, man. I just asked for camo shorts. That's it. And so that tells you that they mean something to me. I'm not up here asking for money or free passes or this or that. I just wanted my camo shorts because it means a lot to me. And I'm so glad they made it happen.
Are you nervous that when they switch to Venom, you're going to have to go through all this again?
I'm ready to give Venom some hell.
The fight itself, how do you evaluate your performance? How did you think he was? How did you take the fight?
I could have done better in certain positions. He flying kneed me. I didn't want that to happen. I broke my hand in the first round and kept swinging with it. I was like, the hell with it. I'm going to keep throwing it. I knew something was wrong with my hand, and, I just envisioned myself doing better.
Do you know how you broke it? I mean, obviously punching him, but do you know when you broke it?
I think it was on an overhand left.
Yeah. So how, obviously you need to get it x-rayed and stuff, but that looks like a lengthy period of time away to rest up now?
Yeah, I'm going to have to take a little while off. I mean, I ain't got no choice, so you won't see me in here for a little while, but I'm going to heal up the best I can and come back as strong as I can.
Congratulations on the win.
Thank you, sir. Bryce, over here, just to talk about it. You've had quite a run already in the UFC. You've built a name for yourself very quickly. Just how would you evaluate just your growth so far in 2020?
I keep getting better every fight, and every fight there's something else that I feel like I did wrong, and I want to fix it. And I'm just gonna keep trying to improve myself as much as I can and heal my body right now because I got some healing to do.
The coach for the Arkansas basketball team was showing support. There were some kids in Arkansas. Apparently, they were Bryce Mitchell today. I mean, what does that mean to you if you could put it into words?
It means everything to me, man. I'm so glad to have people supporting me and cheering me on. It means the world to me.
If a kid doesn't have the camo shorts, what should he have to complete his Bryce Mitchell costume?
I know he's got to go beat some people up for candy or something, man. He's got to do something crazy. No, man, you know, the camo shorts are not whatever. You just get the gloves on and look mean, man.
Congrats.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Are y'all taking any, can I say stuff right now, or does it go anywhere? Yeah. Well, this is the only time that I have a platform to say something, and I've had something on my mind. It's affected me and a lot of people that I love, and I'm going to take a lot of criticism for saying what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it anyways because I feel it needs to be said. I was driving by elementary school the other day, and I seen all these kids outside. They're trying to play on the playground. They're trying to run around. They're trying to swing on the monkey bars, go down a slide, and wrestle and play tag, and they all got masks on. And I see them out there, some of them taking their mask off so they can breathe fresh air. They get fresh air in their lungs when they take the mask off. And then you got a teacher walking around pointing at them saying, oh, put your mask on, put your mask on, put your mask on. And that makes me sick that these kids can't get fresh air, and they're 8 hours a day. They're sitting 6 feet apart from each other, and they can't breathe fresh air. I don't agree with that. And I just want to tell Asa Hutchinson, I think you need to have a little bit of backbone because we did not vote for none of that. There was no vote that said we want our kids in masks, we want to wear masks, we want our businesses shut down, we want our restaurants at half capacity, we want our gyms at half capacity. And I just don't know who he thinks he is telling us that we have to shut down our businesses or shut our businesses to half capacity without a vote. There was no vote. And if he likes shutting down people's businesses and he likes telling people what to do, he can go to California because they'll love him over there. That's what they do over there. The government's all up in people's business over there, and we don't want to live like that. And I'm just asking to get our freedoms back, and I don't think that's much to ask for. What I'm saying is make the mask optional in Arkansas for people who own restaurants and people who own businesses. Make it optional. Why tell somebody they have to wear a mask? What if they don't want to, or what if it affects their breathing negatively and gives them headaches? You know? And here's another theory I got. If your mask works so well, why are you worried about if I'm wearing one? Don't you got one on? Why does it matter? If they work so good, why are you worried if I got one? You wear one and you worry about you. Okay? And if you think you're going sick, stay home. If you think you're going to get sick, stay home. That's all I'm saying. And I think that taking away our liberties and taking away our freedoms without a vote, I don't think that's the right answer. And there's going to be a lot of criticism and a lot of people attacking me for saying that. And they're going to say I'm a dumb MMA fighter and I got no sense sharing my opinion. But you know what? I pay my taxes. So you're going to tell me you can take that money out of my pocket, tens and thousands of dollars out of my pocket that I fought for, and you're going to take it out of my pocket and then discredit my opinions and say I don't have an opinion? No, I do have an opinion, and it does matter. And if you put it on the vote, I guarantee you more people in Arkansas agree with me than they do masks for everybody. All I'm saying is make it optional. Let the people have a choice. There's single moms that are waitresses, okay? And they got kids, okay? They got kids to feed. They're moms that are waitresses, okay? No dads. And the restaurants are at half capacity. That's half their paycheck. You're affecting people's lives, Asa Hutchinson. Open up our restaurants to full capacity. Open up our gyms to full capacity, or at least give us a vote. But personally, I like the government the hell out of my life. And, you know, like I said, there's going to be people criticizing me. But I feel that needed to be said. And I like breathing in fresh air. And if kids' parents want them to wear a mask, that's fine. But don't tell everybody that they have to wear a mask just because you want to. You know, more people die in car wrecks than the corona in Arkansas. In Arkansas, it claims to have killed 270 people. The CDC claims 270 people have died of corona. Way more people died in car wrecks, but the interstates ain't shut down. How come you ain't shut down the interstates, Asa? Okay? Let us drive at our own risk. Let us go to Walmart at our own risk. Let us do stuff at our own risk. That's all that I'm saying, and I don't think that that's too much to ask for. You know, so say what you want about me, but I had to say that, and this is the only platform I have to say any stuff like that. And there's a lot of people that I love that this is affecting negatively. It's affecting their businesses. It's taking money out of their pockets. So I can't sit here and have this platform and say nothing. So I had to say something, and I appreciate y'all for giving me the platform to say something. Thank you.
I wish I had the words to follow that, but I don't.
Can't be. I can't have a good time with my costume on right now.
There is Bryce Mitchell. I can't believe only 2 media members had questions for him. Like, who do you want next? I mean, nothing. Nothing. You know, listen. You know, he had a forum, and listen, the UFC does not silence anybody. You know, he could have gone for another half hour about that, but you know, this is not a political show. You may agree with him, maybe you don't. It is what it is. But Bryce Mitchell got a big win, and big things coming his way. We'll see what those things are as we await the arrival of one Uriah Hall. And here he comes. Wow, just as I said it.
Easy peasy.
This should be good.
After his big win over Anderson Silva, let's see what Uriah Hall has to say.
Congratulations, Uriah. Is it accurate? Did you apologize and say I'm sorry after you knocked him out when you guys were down there?
Yeah. I told him I was sorry for knocking him out.
It just, I mean, it speaks to the respect that Anderson has engendered, but you know, can you say in your own words why you felt the need to say that to him?
I felt bad. Yeah, I felt bad, man. I mean, leading up to the fight, there was a lot of emotions, and we all know Anderson is a G and what he's done for the sport. So a guy like me that he inspired years ago as a kid, or, you know, I think I was maybe 22, but it was hard. It was hard to kind of separate those emotions and fighting your idol and beating him up and potentially kill him. It was weird. So yeah, right after the event, all the emotions just came out. I mean, even today, I woke up like fighting it like, shit, how am I going to deal with this? But yeah, I said, I'm sorry.
You know, he gave you some difficulty in the first couple of rounds. He was landing some kicks and whatnot. What makes him a difficult opponent? Obviously, he's not a prime Anderson Silva now, but you were in the cage with him for almost 20 minutes. What makes him a difficult opponent to fight?
What makes Anderson so difficult is his creativity. He's very creative. So it's easy to get lost in that. And, you know, we've seen him throughout his career just go out there and just dismantle people, and just how he does it very fashionably. So it was risky. And my coach always just tell me, listen, follow the basics. It's easy to get lost in that. I kind of have the same stylistic style. I go out there, I try to have a little fun too, but we decided to keep it simple. And that's what I was trying to do.
Did you have moments where you saw an opening and then didn't let it go because you were wary maybe he had set some trap up for you? Were those things happening in the early part of the fight?
It was a little weird in the beginning. I was trying to find his rhythm. I knew he was trying to set something up. He kept moving a certain way. I'm like, all right, he has a game plan. Let me feel it. Let me figure it out. But he threw a couple of punches, and I was like, wait a minute, I can see his punches. So his range was good. I remember trying to hit him with straight techniques, and I'm like, I can't touch him. So I was like, well, maybe I got to wait for him to counter. It was just so much going on in there. But I was just looking for an opening. But his range was really well. He kept moving to the right. I didn't want to overlap and go into that because I know he would have set me up. I just felt faster.
And finally, you know, it was interesting the way you you reacted compared to Kevin Holland saw Adesanya sitting there, and he's up over the top of the cage, and he was chirping at Adesanya down there. And I don't think you ever looked in his direction. That's a guy, obviously, you have on your mind. Did you have any feelings that he was sitting there, and did you, was it good to get a knockout win in front of the champion sitting there as a reminder of, hey, this is what I'm capable of doing?
Oh, yeah. Well, I know he danced with Anderson, and I was the guy that finished it, regardless of what everyone's going to say, whether it's an age factor, which Anderson never believes. I mean, it starts here. It's like COVID. For me, COVID starts here. I mean, I've been going through this whole fucking year with COVID. People that I know, people I've trained with, and everyone's like, yo, be careful, bro. I'm like, dude, the moment I started giving this shit power, I lost. Yeah, there's something going around, but it's basic, man. Just stay clean and stay away from motherfuckers. Like, how hard is that? So, but he's the champ. He did what he had to do to get to where he is. There's respect. I knew he was out here. My guess is he was trying to either see holes in me or potentially give Anderson another rematch. Either way is fine. I felt like I did a little sloppy out there. My coaches said something else, but I'm my worst critic. But no, I got nothing bad to say to the champ.
There you are. Obviously, a win over Anderson Silva is an incredible thing to have on your resume, but I'm curious, does the interaction you had with him in the cage after the fight mean as much to you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, after the fight, we shared a moment, and it's a very honorable moment for a lot of martial artists that out there would see and understand. I'd say probably 2/3 of people who are watching this will never understand that, and that's fine. But the fact that a guy like that took me from, I don't know, a younger youth saying, oh, I can be creative like that, oh, I can potentially train with a person like that, to stepping in front of him and competing against him and beating him, it was an incredible moment. And I fought that moment for a while, and I mean, I fought what's the word I'm looking for, emotions leading up to this fight. So right then and there, I just had to let it all go.
And I'm sure, you're going to have to take some time to digest this, but you will have, Dana White's confirmed it, you have the honor of being Anderson Silva's last UFC fight. That's something no one can ever take away from you. That's going on your resume as a separate thing in itself. What does that mean?
I mean, there's nothing to boast about. It's like, yeah, I don't see anything to boast about. It was an incredible moment we both shared. 4 minutes, 4 rounds. It was just an incredible moment. I have nothing to even say to that. It's like, all right,
When you were sorry,
What up? Yeah, you good.
When you were in the ring with him, you guys had, that special moment you're talking about, and he was talking into, it sounded like he was giving you advice or something. What did he say to you in those moments?
Man, he was just telling me to, train your mind. Anderson is a little detached from this whole BS, man. I get where he's coming from. He keeps saying that it's not about fighting. I get that. A lot of people don't understand that. It's about that moment, but it's hard for right now where the sport is, where you guys just capitalize on the title. You guys will never get that. So I see where he's coming from, where it's about that moment you share, and it is. I will never get that moment back. Those, how long was that? 12 minutes, whatever? I will never get that back. So he's talking more about that. And I guess as you get older in the sport, you're more focused on that. It's like, all right, what's more important now? Family, friends, loved ones, shit that really matters. So I get where he's coming from. But at the same time, he was still dangerous. But he was just pretty much telling me, you can be world champ. And thank you. He was thanking me. And I'm like, what are you talking about, bro? And he was just saying, train your mind and to be a better version of yourself, pretty much. And I admired that. And no one could ever take that away from me. To me, that I gave that so much leverage to say that was like my championship fight, because I looked up to him so long, and to share that moment in the octagon, which I guess is potentially his last, was pretty cool.
Can anything beat this besides winning the championship belt?
I say it would be right next to it. It's kind of like that hump to say, hey, you're here, bro. Make that jump and you can fly. Like, all right, I'll do it.
Just a couple quick questions. There was a moment right after the fight was stopped. you sat down on your knees and you look up, and I was trying to gauge what was going through your head right at that moment, the emotion that was going through you. I don't know if you can recall that moment and what was going through your head right at that moment when the fight was stopped.
When I sat down?
Yeah, when you sat down on your knees. It was almost like you were paying an honor to him, but there was something in your eyes that I was just wondering what was going through your head right at that moment.
I was definitely paying respect. You know, the old Cheeto way, you turn around, you take a knee, and my coach safe reminded me of that. And we talked about it too, if that happened, you know, to do that out of respect, which that was me being respectful. But it was just all the emotions coming in, and I'm like, dude, don't do it. Don't cry. Don't be a bitch. What are you doing? Dude, right now, don't hold that shit in. And it was just everything rushing in. The entire year of training, I mean, literally trained for a year. The pandemic, the ups, the downs, the living in the gym, the fights that fall out, the losing motivation, the finding motivation, the losing weight, to lose the mindset, to get back in it, everything right then and there just came out.
With the sport sort of changing, you know, you see a lot more trash talking to make fights happen and all this other stuff happening. Do you feel, in the sense, if this is the last time we see Anderson fight, will there be a void, in the sense, in the MMA of the honor and the martial arts aspect that Anderson and that crop brought? And do you feel that it's maybe upon yourself and some others to keep that alive and keep that going, because such an icon that brought that to the sport is stepping away?
As great as that sounds, it's not going to happen. I mean, if you really want me to be real, since I like being real, I mean, we make stupid people famous. I can get out there and talk some shit, and all of a sudden I'm famous. What's that Catch Me Outside chick? Remember that girl who disrespected her mom on TV and she became famous from that? I'm a grown-ass man. My mom will whoop my ass if I say some dumb shit like that. But that's the day and age we live in. And I'm not being specific to anybody. But personally, I believe that, and I think Denzel Washington said this, you know, you read the news, you're misinformed. And if you don't read the news, you're uninformed. So I feel like the media owe it to set the record straight with the right news, but nobody cares. And for a guy like me that cares, because I'm real, I struggled with it. And I became angry, and I became saying, fuck you guys. But that's the way the game works. It's gonna work like that, because we're heading that way. It sells. Regardless of what I wanna say, it sells. It's more entertaining for someone to go out there and sell a fight by belittling someone or saying something. It sells. And it doesn't mean I have to do it, but I get it. It's gonna sell. So I owe it to myself to be myself. And to answer your question, I don't think it's gonna change, but I do think that it's important to remember who you are and represent yourself well. And hey, if you're not getting what you need to get to where you need to be, maybe talk some shit, but I say go out there and beat the shit out of someone first, and then you have more leverage to do it.
Thank you very much.
And that's all, folks. Thank you very much for coming in to the Primetime Special. You guys have a great evening and go home safe.
Wow. I mean, I'm telling you, what a cluster of scrums those were, from Dana White to Bryce Mitchell to Uriah Hall. And
who would have thought Uriah Hall was the one that was the least negative of those three?
I know, right? I liked what Uriah Hall had to say at the end there. Really, I liked it a lot. Well said. At the end there. Listen, big win for him. And
congratulations,
we'll see where he goes
Uriah Hall.
Yes,
Congratulations.
It was prime time at the Apex tonight. So we are gonna leave this stream and then get ready for the post-fight show with all of you guys. For Casey, that's Jose. Jose, are you joining us for the post-fight show or no?
I might not be there. I'm going to be helping Alex with video work because she is on site. And now after those three scrums, we're going to need all hands on deck from the MMA fighting staff.
Any final thoughts on the event?
Yeah, man, I hope. Oh, man, I don't know. I would like to see Anderson Silva get one more fight in the UFC just to go out on a high note. Like, it's a big name that he wouldn't get, like, you know, a big name in that. Like I want to see the Weidman 3 fight still. I want to see him fight someone like on that generation of fighters, that like a rematch or something, like even the Nick Diaz rematch, which obviously will never happen, but he wants that fight. So if this is the last time we see Anderson Silva ever in mixed martial arts, it's very bizarre, because he was for sure one of the fighters that got me into Pride, not the UFC. I was a huge fan of Anderson Silva in Pride and Cage Rage and Rumble on the Rock, and that epic Rumble on the Rock tournament that we always talk about, that Carlos Condon remembers with rosy cheeks. Like, I was such a big fan of Anderson pre-UFC, and now that he's out of the UFC, supposedly, it's a weird feeling not to have Anderson Silva in the world of the Ultimate Fighting Championship.
Well, hopefully, if he sticks around, they release him. He can go off and do the damn thing somewhere else. But
I hope it's a bummer that there are no fans there to see that.
I agree. Jose, thank you as always for jumping on. Casey, we'll see you on the other side. I believe AK Lee will be joining us as well. So get your questions ready, because it's going to be mostly all of you guys, since we had like 45 minutes to talk about the event before the first scrum went up. So we'll see you on the other side on the post-fight show. See you then.
You got to do a costume change now.